Hey there, Pisces. We're going to do a April bonus reading for you for April of 2025, and we're going to jump right in here. The first row, I'm using these Lenormand cards, and you have the Garden and the Rider. The Garden, Lenormand uses combinations as far as like reading is concerned, and so the Garden and the Rider can represent like some sort of news or some sort of important announcement coming in for you. So I would pay attention to news that you're getting, and I would also pay attention to anything that you're hearing, but this could be intuitive, right? So you are a Pisces, obviously very intuitive, and you could be receiving kind of like intuitive messages, information, pretty much anything, but both those cards together kind of just represent important news coming in for you, and that is definitely a possibility. And we're going to see what else wants to come up. You start in your current general energies, or I'm doing a Celtic cross for these bonus readings, and you have the Six of Swords as your current general energies, or how you're entering in to the reading. And the Six of Swords, of course, is about moving on to calmer shores, and that, of course, could be a good thing. You could be heading towards improvements. You're definitely in a time of reinvention, Pisces. I mean, Neptune has left your sign. It will retrograde back into your sign, but it will, officially leave your sign, Pisces, at the end of the year. And I feel a lot of Pisces are kind of in this reinvention mode. I've heard recently that a lot of Pisces are worried about Neptune and Aries because it is your second house, and Neptune and Aries can bring like a certain murkiness to your finances where things are not clear. Number one, let's start here. I think just looking around at what's on the table, I think that it would be a good time. Like, don't get me wrong, I love tarot and astrology, but I also believe people take it way too seriously, and I also think that we should just look at it as like a layer on our life. It does not control our life, right? So, people always worry about things, I think, in the astrology and things like that they probably don't need to worry about, because it's just a layer. It's not like something that is going to, like someone asked me, is Neptune and Aries going to take away all my money? And I was like, well, no, that's not how it works, right? And it's just a layer, right? And I think that, the funny thing, I'm just going to say it here, Pisces. The funny thing I'm getting off of this reading is it would almost be better if you just ignored the astrology. It would almost be better if you just ignored like what you think is going to happen, and you really got into like more of a place of manifesting, just saying like, I'm in control. You end with the Chariot. The Chariot is hard control. He is the one that makes the outcome. He is the one that takes control of the Chariot, and he can have whatever he wants. And we'll talk about that in a minute when we get there. But, I kind of feel that here with the Six of Swords as well, that it's like saying, well, really, you're the one that's in control. So you have to act as if you are in control of your future. And the thing with Neptune and Aries is, again, as long as you're disciplined, as long as you're not making the same old mistakes with money, and as long as you're making money for the right reasons and not just to make money, right? That's what will get you in trouble, is just thinking like, oh, I need to make $1 billion so I can buy 20 Ferraris. You're going to have a hard time. But if you just set out to say, and you say, I'm going to build this thing because it's part of my dream, then you probably will make $1 billion. So, again, Neptune and Aries isn't really going to take your money. But I definitely feel some of you are going back to the drawing board as far as how you make money with the Six of Swords, and, that's definitely popping into my head. You have the Two of Cups as your crossing energy. The crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross. And the Two of Cups can be love, of course, but it could also be you and your higher self. So that's kind of what I feel here with the Two of Cups, is that, maybe some of you have not been listening to your inner guidance system or your higher self. It's coming up as a challenge. I don't really feel it's that big of a deal. I think that it just really, the card is just saying, take some time to listen, take some time to tap in. And if you do that, things will go very well. The Rider in the Lenormand, that Nine of Hearts, that very first card that you got, can represent new love. And it is kind of popping into my head that there could be new love. In the area of your thoughts or what's on your mind, you have the Five of Swords. Five of Swords can, of course, represent a separation or walking away from things that no longer serve you. So I feel a lot of you could be just walking away from things that no longer serve you with the Five of Swords. Some of you could be thinking about like a person who walked away from you with that Two of Cups. We are getting past those retrogrades soon enough. I mean, just in 3 days of me recording this video, 2 days after I publish it, we will have Mercury finally going direct. We'll also have Venus going direct the second week of the month. I think it's on the 12th. So we're getting past all this retrograde energy, but sometimes I think even, maybe the few days after, we kind of, can bring up thoughts of the past and things like that. So I think that if you do want love, this card is saying that it's time to, move past thoughts of the past. It's time to let those thoughts go and have a new beginning, because we go down to the Fool here, and the Fool definitely wants us to have a new beginning. Next in your foundation, you have the Four of Pentacles. I really like the Four of Pentacles as a foundational card. I'm not a big fan of the Four of Pentacles, but if it's going to show up in a reading, especially a Celtic Cross, definitely a good position to start off in, because he has a solid foundation. Even though he's holding on too tightly to things from the past, again, he still has a solid foundation, and it's coming up in the position of the foundation. So it's basically just saying that you have a solid foundation at this time, and things could be going well for you, or it's kind of like a launch pad, if that makes sense. Especially with the Six of Swords. Let's put it this way, Pisces. If you're going back to the drawing board on a project or a business idea or something you want to work on, or if you're let's say you're starting something, which just based off the astrology, it really wouldn't surprise me if a lot of Pisces were being kind of pushed into reinventing the way that they work or something that they do. It could even just be a daily routine or a daily habit or something like that. It's like saying you have the basic information. You have a good foundation, so just keep charging forward, which it looks like you're kind of doing with that Chariot. Next, in the area of the past, this is the energy of what you are moving past in a Celtic Cross. You have this endings and beginnings card, and also this stability and security card. So, again, pretty good, because you have all these cards of stability. It makes sense to me that, this video is basically coming out right at the end of the Mercury retrograde. So, it makes sense to me that you could be feeling more secure as we move through the month of April. You could be feeling more sure of yourself as well. Even though this is all coming up in a past position, again, you have the King of Wands, and I do feel like the King of Wands is saying, and let me put it this way as well. Maybe this is coming up in a past position because, this is what you've been working on. You've been working on becoming more bold, becoming more confident, becoming more sure of yourself, not holding back with this and the Chariot. I definitely get that energy where this reading is saying, don't hold back anymore, especially in work or business. I don't know, there aren't a lot of financial cards here yet. That could change in a minute, but this reading definitely feels financial to me. It feels like you're, working on your finances or trying to improve your finances. And I really get the feeling that this King of Wands is saying that maybe the last 6 months, because, we have not had a break from retrogrades since November. So we've had one after the other since November. And, maybe you spent that time, whether you realize it or not, on developing confidence, becoming more bold and assertive, and learning to really go for what you want. And, that makes a lot of sense. Also, these two eclipses as well. I always, I've been telling people that the last time we had the Virgo Aries eclipse was, that set of eclipses was in 2006. So you have to think back to 2006. What were you doing? Where were you in life? And, I think it's no mistake that we had all these retrogrades that were kind of also probably reminding us of that time. And, maybe there were moments where you weren't bold and assertive. Maybe there were moments where you didn't stick up for yourself. And I kind of feel like you are becoming more bold because you it's not like you relived it, but maybe you spent time thinking about how you could have dealt with those situations differently. And now you're entering into the reading more bold. Next, in the very near future, you have this impulse card and this adventure card. Fool. This could be a very impulsive decision. Here's the thing I know about Pisces, right? It's because I'm a Pisces and I've done it. I think something that happens a lot for Pisces is it's people don't see what's going on up here. So I think people think Pisces is impulsive because one day we can just make a decision and do something different with our lives, or we can just completely move in a new direction all of a sudden. But again, people don't see what's going on below the surface. So it's people don't know that we've been planning something for like years, or people don't know what we've been working on in silence. And that is kind of the feeling I get here. So don't worry about all the people that are saying like, oh my god, what are you doing with your life? Don't let that ruin your confidence with this impulsive card here, or the impulse card, because it's like you are probably getting an impulse right now to make a change, and you're getting an impulse to go on an adventure in your life, but you probably have been preparing for it for a long time. Again, people don't see what's going on below the surface with Pisces, and I think you need to, number one, embrace that, but also realize that. It's just that simple. Also, in the very near future, you have the Fool. Again, he is impulsive. He can just all of a sudden take a leap of faith in a new direction. His fear is that people are going to call him foolish, and people are calling him foolish for the decision that he's making. But obviously, like I said, people don't see the full picture. They don't see everything that he knows. He has this very long feather in his cap here, and the very long feather represents the fact that he has a ton of knowledge and wisdom. We have a saying, a feather in your cap, right? It means like you've learned a lot about things. So it's like maybe that's the part that people can't see. And it's like, yeah, maybe people are nervous for you, but I think that you should have confidence in whatever leaps you're about to take here. Definitely some sort of positive new beginning. Next, in your outcome row, you have this card. It says, don't let your past hold you back. Yes. You have this luck is on your side card. There you go. I feel you need to believe that you're lucky. Act as if you are lucky, but luck is definitely on your side. I think you've done a lot of processing of the past and, things that you've been through in the past, and it's time to move past the past with this energy for sure. Over the next few months, you have the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, learning something new. Page of Pentacles is a card of studiousness and learning. So again, a lot of you are clearly like stepping into a new environment. You're setting yourself apart with the Chariot, which we're definitely going to talk about. And, that's going to require learning. It's kind of like, I get this feeling as well, where it's like if you're starting over, I don't feel that all of you are starting over, but I'm just saying if you are, there's going to be a period of adjustment. Like things aren't going to take off as quickly as you want. And I definitely feel that the need to motivate you here and say, like, don't get disappointed if you're starting something new and it doesn't take off right away. Like, keep going. That you just have some things to learn. It's not going to take you as long as it did in the past. I fully believe it's time for Pisces to make money. And, I say this in every single one of your readings. So, just because something doesn't, make you $1 million overnight doesn't mean that it isn't working. You just have to keep going. There are things you have to learn, and it won't take you as long as it did the last time. I promise you that, right? And if you just keep going, then you will be successful. I do also feel that some of you could be attracting a new connection in your life. It could start as communication. Two of Cups usually does. I do feel like maybe you have caught someone's eye here, and I just feel like they haven't communicated yet. Definitely a new person with the Page of Pentacles, but I just, they just haven't said anything yet. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, this is all relationships in your life. You have the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It says when you know that something will be successful for you, then it will be successful. So, the Seven of Wands is really about being convicted and knowing what you know. Now, in the area of your closest relationships, the card kind of represents having boundaries and putting up boundaries. Definitely a lesson, I would say in all relationships for Pisces. So make sure that you're putting up healthy boundaries with people, and make sure that they're not crossing the line. This is a card of drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is what I'm willing to accept in my life. Everything below this point is a no. And needing to stick to that is very important with the Seven of Wands. So make sure you are sticking to your guns here. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Three of Wands. This is pretty good. I feel, again, pretty motivated. I feel more inspired. It's like all of a sudden there are options. He's looking out into this water and he's seeing those boats. Those boats represent an opportunity for adventure. So it's kind of like all of a sudden he has these opportunities in front of him. And that's kind of what I feel like is happening for you, especially if you're working on a project, or you could even be working on yourself, your health, your wellness, your happiness, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But I kind of feel that even this month, April, there could be a moment where it's like all of a sudden you see multiple kind of options that you could accept into your life that would pull you, in a new direction. And, the Three of Wands is a card of expansion, so it's definitely time for you to expand. You have the Chariot, very good card. This is your outcome card. The Chariot, of course, is a victory or a big success coming in for you. He's leaving this city behind him behind. You're definitely making a big move here, Pisces. Maybe literally for some of you. We still have Jupiter in our 4th house for Pisces until June. So whenever Jupiter's in your 4th house, you definitely could be moving. I did during Jupiter in my 4th house. So, I definitely feel that. But also more importantly, I think this is control. The Chariot, he really grabs on to the reins, even though there aren't any reins on the Chariot, doesn't matter. He really takes control, and he does that with his manifestation. He has these stars up here, these moons right here, and it represents as above, so below. So he is in perfect alignment with what he wants. Exactly what I was saying at the beginning of the reading. I just get this feeling with that Five of Swords. It's showing up in the area of your thoughts. So you could be thinking things are worse, or you could be thinking, this transit is going on in my astrology. I'm screwed. I'm not going to be able to get ahead. The Chariot is saying, no. The Chariot is saying the astrology has no control over your life. It's just energy to work with. And the Chariot is saying you need to act as if you can have the things you want, and also as above, so below. Practice manifestation, and really be in an energy of doing something no matter what the astrology says. And also with the Fool and the impulsive card and what I said about that, also ignoring what other people are saying is going to be very important. He's moving in a completely new direction. So, again, like I said, I think a lot of you could definitely be moving in a new direction, and you could have people in your life that are like, what are you doing looking for a new job? Or what are you doing, quitting your job and doing something different? Or what are you doing starting this business? But, don't worry about it. With the Six of Swords and the Two of Cups, you have the Four of Cups. Like, you could be a little bit of a porcupine in love. Like, if you want love, I feel this is saying be open to love. And also, be open to the possibility that people can treat you differently than past people, right? The Seven of Wands, he's a little bit guarded, and he's coming up in the area of your closest relationships. The Four of Cups, he's been disappointed many times before, and now he's getting a new opportunity. So again, there could be a new opportunity in love, and I feel it would be worth a look. With the Five of Swords, you have the Five of Wands. Yeah, conflict and competition. Definitely you need to get out of your head. I mean, typical Pisces, right? All us Pisces live way too much in our heads. So both of these cards, Five of Swords, Five of Wands, your only challenging cards here so far, are both showing up in the head, the what's on your mind position. So I think that getting out of your head would be a good thing for you, and also just doing with the Chariot. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Justice card. Balance. I think the last 6 months has been a rebalancing period for you, where you've been rebalancing your life and rebalancing the things that you're dealing with. So I would just keep rebalancing whatever you're rebalancing. I threw it. With the King of Wands, you have the Ace of Wands. Like I said, I think there's some sort of like inspiration or something. It's more like an option that I feel is coming in for you with that Three of Wands. It could feel inspiring, but I think that it's more just options, if that makes sense. Like, it feels a little bit different than something that's like completely inspiring. It's like I feel like you would be excited about the opportunities on the Three of Wands, but it's not like completely inspiring, if I'm being honest. I think it's just maybe a little bit exciting. So, but I think it will get more exciting if you go on the adventure. The Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. This whole reading is kind of like a clean slate type of reading. So a lot of you could be really working on a clean slate or starting a clean slate. With the Fool, you have the Three of Swords. Yeah, make sure you're healed. Like, if you are, clearly there could be a new connection that's coming in for you. And the Three of Swords is about forgiveness. We have to forgive the past to have a new beginning in the first place. So those three swords are in your own heart. And the Three of Swords is all about forgiving the past and moving forward. And, again, I think that would be a good thing for you. This could also say that you're worried that you will, of looking foolish in a connection, right? It's like you could be worried that if you do accept something new, that it's just going to break your heart again. But I feel like the Fool, the Fool is about pure intentions. So I do feel that a person could be approaching you with pure intentions. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Two of Swords. This is coming up over the next few months. I would just be open. The Two of Swords, well, let's put it this way. She's thinking this or that, but really things could go a completely different direction. I think a lot of people are going to be dealing with this over the next few months. Like, things aren't exactly going to go how you think. And, just being open to this island over here, being open to the fact that things can go differently is going to help you the most. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Death card. Some sort of transformation in your connections for sure. Excuse me. The Death card could say that you need to change your connections, or it could also say that you need to open up to more connections. If you're like trying to build a business, or if you're trying to even just improve your life, opening up and transforming the people you surround yourself with, or if you don't surround yourself with people, starting to surround yourself with people could be very helpful with that card. With the Three of Wands, you have the Ten of Cups. Yeah, if this is love, it's definitely going to be an adventure, for sure, with the Three of Wands and the Chariot and the Adventure card. In the Impulse card, it could feel a little impulsive as well. Like, you could meet a person, and it could be like an impulsive connection where it's like all of a sudden you're living together. I'm not saying it's going to happen this month, but, it could happen very quickly. So, but Ten of Cups is ultimate happiness. And, sometimes they say when you know, you know. And so sometimes it just works out that way. Ten of Cups is also celebration, and this is coming up in the area of your future feelings. It's also fortune after difficulty as well. So like I said, could be some major improvements here, Pisces. Looks really good. With the Chariot, you have the Queen of Cups. Could be you have like water here, Cancer, Scorpio, also fire, Libra, Earth. You have basically everything as far as love is concerned. But the Queen of Cups, is exactly what I said about Neptune and Pisces, or Neptune and Aries. If you follow your heart, the victories will come. If you do things for the right reasons, you will make a lot of money. It's just that simple. It's only if you do things for the wrong reason. The other thing I would tell you about Neptune and Aries is, especially when we get to next year, 2026, just remember what I say here. And for the next 14 years, right? It's about building things that are permanent. I think Pisces is too used to building things that don't last. But, if you're alive today and you're watching this video, then, your past like 20 years has been about learning to build. It's like, and now you're a master architect, and, moving forward, it's about creating the reality you want. You have this Submission card. This card is like the Eight of Swords to me. We have this bird in this cage, but the cage door is open. So this is about removing yourself from limiting situations, which I definitely think would be good for you. You have this Independence card. I feel like Pisces has learned true independence. I think Pisces has learned like how to take care of themselves more, how to support themselves more. And I think you've learned that you don't need to be a people pleaser anymore, and you don't need to like overgive and all that other stuff. So major lessons. It's kind of like major lessons are closing out in the month of April. You have this Lust card. Yes, I feel probably King of Wands, Ace of Wands could be a very lusty connection. But as long as that's not all it is, then it's probably fine, right? So, I don't know. It's like sometimes you meet a person, you just can't keep your hands off them, Pisces, right? And so, there you go. I don't know. Whatever. If it works, it works. You have this Organization card. Yes, getting more organized, always a problem for Pisces, right? So getting more organized or staying organized, building systems in your life, it's changed my life. Like, I'm not a very organized person. ADHD doesn't help either, but, what I would say is that I do have some organization to my day. The first thing I do when I wake up is these readings, pretty much. I chug a bunch of coffee, I do my writing for the morning, and then I do these readings, right? So it's like I kind of have like a loose routine to my day. And, it changed my life. So there you go. Get organized. And finally, here you go. You have this Isolation card. Someone is probably pulling you out of isolation. It wouldn't surprise me if like the last 3 or 4 years has been very isolating for Pisces, where it's like maybe you've been alone, or, maybe you've been feeling lonely, or maybe you've been just kind of working behind the scenes, like I said earlier. And, this could be a person who really breaks you out of your shell if you're looking for love. Even if you're not looking for love, it could just be a new friend, or, a person who really kind of opens you up, which I think would be a good thing for Pisces at this time. I mean, it is your time to shine. So, that's definitely something you have to do. But this looks really good. I love this. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.